On this episode of Best of America by Horseback, we will take a personal and inside look at the life and legacy of Secretariat. Named America's Horse, the big red racehorse became a sports hero for all of America, appearing on the covers of Time, Newsweek, and Sports Illustrated. A presumed underdog in the racing world, Secretariat emerged to become perhaps the greatest racehorse in history. At a time when the Vietnam War was still lingering on and the Watergate scandal upset the country, Secretariat brought America together. He was their horse, every man's horse, coming from behind with an explosion of power and muscular beauty, setting new track records at the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. He won the Belmont Stakes in June of 1973 to become the first Triple Crown winner in over a quarter of a century. He won by an astounding 31 lengths ahead of the pack, setting a world record that has never been broken. Secretariat's future was far from assured. He was part of a stable in Kentucky that was deeply in debt, and the owner, Christopher Chenery, was suffering from Alzheimer's. As fate would have it, his daughter Penny Tweedy stepped in to run the farm and recognized the potential that Secretariat, or Big Red as he was known around the farm, had within him.
Kate, you got to essentially grow up with Secretariat. Can you tell me about what it was like to grow up the way that you did, with your mom being who she was and Secretariat ended up being the horse that he was?
Well, it's interesting. I had a very normal childhood. Mom didn't take over the stable from my grandfather till I was about 16. But the magical part of my childhood was we got to come to the Meadow, the racing stable, the farm here in Virginia, where Secretariat was born and raised. And it's where I learned to ride, it's where I learned to swim. Some of my fondest memories, we'd go down after dinner and feed the mamas and babies in the broodmare barn. And it just was, it was an amazing experience. Of course, that was before we had such an amazing horse as Secretariat. So that part was really special.
So getting to come out here, it was originally your grandfather's
yes.
farm?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about him and how he inspired your mom and also you.
Well, he was a horse lover from the word go. He grew up very poor in rural Virginia, loved horses, knew he had to sort of make money in order to own any. Mm-hmm. So he ended up going to New York as an engineer and making money, and then came back to Virginia, bought back the old family farm. This farm had been in the family since 1805, but had been lost to the bank in 1912. He bought it back in 36 and established a horse farm here. And he really, he did everything at a level that he just wanted to create the best place he could for the horses. Mm-hmm. He also had a really good eye for a mare. He believed in mares as being just as important for breeding as stallions.
Definitely.
And that's partly how we got Secretariat, because his mother, Something Royal, was our homebred. And Granddaddy had this real vision of how, what would make a really great mare, and it was because we had such good mares that we got to breed to Bold Ruler, who was the sire of Secretariat. So, it all sort of is a piece.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, as you got older, of course in your teens is when Secretariat started becoming a big name.
Yep.
Tell us kind of what that meant to you. I mean, how did that affect you personally?
Well, that was the late 60s, early 70s by the time Secretariat came along. And I was very much a member of my generation. I was sort of a rebel. The movie shows me as a real rebel and sort of a hippie, and that was all true. But on the other hand, I adored horses, and I was so proud of my mom and so proud of my grandfather, and just really in love with so it was a little schizophrenic, because it was two sides of a coin. One was rebelling against society, and the other was embracing the sport of kings.
Right.
So, it was an interesting dichotomy.
Well, of course, you being young, not realizing really the significance of what was going on, you wanting to be a teenager and doing what teenagers do, I'm sure.
Exactly.
So
well, and it's funny because we didn't understand at the time. It was unbelievably great what he did. But I think at the time we thought somebody else would come along almost as good as him. That we had no idea at the time how amazing he was and how his records would stand all these more than 40 years later, and how nobody would come close to what he was able to accomplish. Nobody knew that at the time. Even though of course, Charlie knew that he was probably the best horse ever. But the rest of us were kind of watching, going, gosh, you know, this is so phenomenal. What will come next? And nothing has.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, because when we come back, Kristen has a fantastic interview with Charlie Davis, who exercised and worked with Secretariat. This is a great interview. I just loved it. We'll be right back. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for helping to make this show such a success across the trail riding world. We're trying to reach out to all of our Best of America friends and family on Facebook. So please share this video and this information with all of your friends. Tell them to go to our website, bestofamericabyhorseback.com, and click on the Facebook logo, or log on to facebook.com/bestofamericabyhorseback and click the like tab so they can stay up to date with all of our upcoming rides and events.
Charlie Davis, Secretariat's exercise rider, probably knew the horse better than anyone. He rode him and he cared for him. Charlie told us that Secretariat was his best friend and mentor. He said he thought he knew everything about racing, but Secretariat taught him much more than he could imagine.
Is this the life size of Secretariat?
Yeah. You know,
How big he was?
yeah. See, did you see how big his neck is? His neck been something like a Brahma bull neck. A Brahma bull, you know, ain't you know how big a Brahma bull neck, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put the story out. Okay. We run the Derby, right? You see how fast you run the Derby? You 159. A horse run the Derby that fast, he should have lose weight, right? He should have lose at least 5 or 10 pounds, right? He didn't lose no weight. We went to Maryland, right? I gave him my tack and my girt to go to the track. But Eddie said, Charlie, said, you got the wrong girt. I said, no, this is size, he used to wear a size 48 girt.
Wow. That's a big girth.
48, right? Eddie said, you got the wrong girt. I said, no. I said, this is 40. I said, see, this is 48 girt. He said, well, is this too little? They had a special made a girt, 52 and a half.
Oh my goodness.
He gained weight.
Wow. That's a big girth.
Hey, and he gained weight. Hey, you feed him, he'll eat. Feed me. He said, I do my work. He said, feed me, you know?
After Secretariat won the Derby, how was he? As you know, the media came up and everyone came up to put the blanket of roses on him, and
Well,
how did he enjoy that?
well,
Did you tell?
is at first he didn't, that didn't like it too tough. If you get the video, is that you see you've been getting a little trouble because you've been dancing around a little bit. You dance around just a little bit. That been saying, oh, easy boy, easy. That ain't gonna hurt you, easy. So he found out you wasn't gonna hurt him. After that, you gonna throw that flowers anyway on him, and you stand and say,
He's proud.
yeah,
Very proud.
he's pretty proud. He's in the Preakness, that he didn't bother him. In the Belmont, you see all them people been around him. People was that close, and he didn't try to kick nobody. So the lamb put the rose on him. Then he said, hey, I know I'm the man. Hey.
Yeah. Now, all of the time that you spent with Secretariat, all the years, what was your favorite moment? Do you have one?
It's the Preakness and the Belmont.
Why is that?
Because that whole week I didn't have to do nothing while I went for the ride. Secretary trained his own self. He trained his own self. Put it this way, Secretary know what he could do, how he could do it, and when he was gonna do it. It's them three things always is in my mind. What he could do, when he could do it, and how he was gonna do it.
Yeah. So it was an easy week for you then?
Yeah, a real easy week.
strong Secretariat, who made a very...
Other jockeys that rode Secretariat, did you give them advice?
No. We didn't have to hardly give nobody advice. So the only jockey riding is after Ronnie, it was Eddie Miffle. And so Ronnie and Eddie, they were doing the talking. So I didn't have nothing to say. So because, hey, all you had to do on Secretariat, just sit there and just hold on.
Enjoy the ride, hold on.
And you just enjoy a ride.
You were best friends with the greatest horse of all times.
Yes.
50 years from now, when I'm not going to be here and you're not going to be here, and people are talking about Secretariat and they're talking about you, what do you hope they will remember and say about you, Charlie? And if Secretariat could talk, what do you think Secretariat would say about you?
We was the best of friends. I watch his back, he watched my back. He been like, he's one of the family.
The Dude Ranchers Association is celebrating 90 years promoting all-inclusive quality Western adventure vacations. With over 100 ranches west of the Mississippi offering activities like horseback riding, skeet shooting, whitewater rafting, fly fishing, and great children's programs, you are sure to find the perfect location for family reunions, girlfriend getaways, or that vacation of a lifetime. Dude Ranch Association ranches adhere to the highest industry standards. We are all about quality.
I'm Steve Tucker. I'm the founder and president of Tucker Trail Saddles. We listen to our customers, we leverage the experience and craftsmanship of our team, and we embrace the goal to produce the most comfortable and functional trail saddle in the world. And we believe that we are offering with the New Horizon the absolute best and most comfortable trail riding saddle available today.
I've ridden thousands of miles all over this country. The saddle I choose is a Tucker saddle.
After our interview with Charlie Davis and Kate Tweedy, Tom spoke with the tourism director and historian at the Meadows, the birthplace of Secretariat, to learn more about this legendary horse.
Usually when you're in the racing circles, there's a tendency for some families to be very stiff, stuffed shirts, stuck up. And you're wondering where I'm going with this question.
Your words, not mine. No, sorry.
But the family, Penny's daughter today, they just love life. They're just the all-American family as well, just like Secretariat was the all-Americans. Everybody owned that horse in their own mind.
That's so true.
Tell me about the family.
Well, it started with Mr. Chinnery, who founded the Meadow in 1936. Superb horseman, even taught equitation in the Army, played polo, fox hunted, superb horseman. And so he truly loved horses and just wanted to have a thoroughbred farm in Virginia, which people told him he was crazy, he needed to be in Kentucky. Then Penny, who was quite a horsewoman herself, when she had to take over the farm, when he became ill, she was really a pioneer in racing, because if there were any women involved in racing, they were owners who were very much in the background, and they were not hands-on like Penny was, and they were not approachable. Penny really became a media darling, and she was so approachable, and she helped connect the fans, and never forgot how important the fans were in connecting with the horse. And as she said, the horse couldn't talk, so she had to be his spokesperson. And he won the Triple Crown in 1973. Penny is now 94, and she's still, all these years later, an advocate for her horse. And Kate, her daughter, has definitely picked that up and is so approachable and friendly with folks. I've been at book signings with, or events with Penny, where she has signed autographs non-stop for like 3 hours, like at this birthday party in previous years, because she always believes how important the fans are and what it means to them, because she is their connection to Secretariat. So it started with Mr. Chinnery, continued with Penny, and continues with Kate, and then it's just a joy to be part of that story of a horse that America loves.
In my opinion, You continue that legacy because the Manor House, you give tours here.
I do.
You're as in love with the Secretariat history, the family in this house as anybody. And so you give tours here, and tell me what people can today plan their vacation. They're coming through the Richmond area. They can come here for weddings or whatever.
Absolutely. We do what we call our Hoof Prints of History tours year-round, weather permitting, obviously. We don't do too much in January and February, but and with other events. But you will get a 90-minute narrated tour by me. And we start in the mansion and we give you a lot of background. So then when I take you around to the barns, the historic barns where Secretariat was born and raised and first trained, you will have seen all these wonderful family photos, and you'll understand there were other champions here before Secretariat. It was kind of what led up the bloodlines that were created that eventually produced Secretariat. And so we know what it means for people to feel like here they are at the birthplace of arguably the greatest racehorse of all time. And so we do the tours, and then we have big events like this, the annual Secretariat birthday party here at the Virginia Horse Festival. And we love to do group tours, or groups come here and want to do a special tour. It's a very busy place. We have the State Fair of Virginia here, and we do a salute to Secretariat during the State Fair. So we weave that Secretariat narrative into just about everything we do. And I'm lucky enough not only to work here, but to live here too.
On October 4th, 1989, Secretariat passed away at the age of 19 and was given the rare honor of being buried whole at Claiborne Farm. For more information on Secretariat, you can visit the website secretariat.com. For information on visiting and touring the Meadow, the birthplace of Secretariat in Virginia, you can visit meadoweventpark.com.
Hope you'll enjoy viewing future shows with us on Best of America by Horseback. And you can visit us, find out our schedule, find out where we're going to be by...
You can visit our webpage, bestofamericabyhorseback.com, click on Rides and Events, and you can see all the upcoming places we will be that you can join us. Also be sure to follow us on Facebook, Best of America by Horseback.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
They don't anticipate any trouble, and as this third horse goes in, I give it up to Chick Anderson, who called the race for you.
Thanks, Woody. The horse is continuing to move into the gate. Here's the one horse that caused a bit of trouble in the Derby. Twice a Prince, but he appears to be going in fine today. Yes, he's in and well, and Sham now going in. He's the outside horse, and we're ready to go for this tremendous Belmont Stakes. Everybody's in line, and they're off. Looks like the early lead goes to My Gallant. Yes, My Gallant going for the lead with Twice the Prince on the outside. Secretariat away very well, has good position on the rail, and in fact is now going up with the leader. They're moving for the first turn. It is Secretariat. Sham on the outside is also moving along strongly, and now it's Sham. Sham and Secretariat are right together into the first turn. My Gallant has third behind them. Then it's Twice the Prince, and the trailer is Private Smiles as they go by the turn. Those two together, Sham on the outside. Sham getting ahead in front as they move around the turn with Secretariat second. Then there's a large gap. Make it 8 lengths back to My Gallant in third and Twice the Prince fourth. And Private Smiles is still the trailer. They're on the backstretch. It's almost a match race now. Secretariat's on the inside, by ahead. Sham is on the outside. They've opened 10 lengths on My Gallant, who is third by ahead, with Twice the Prince fourth. Then it's another 8 lengths back to Private Smiles, who is trailing the field. They continue down the backstretch, and that Secretariat now taking the lead. He's got it by about 1.5 lengths. Still Sham, 10 lengths back. My Gallant, Twice the Prince. They're moving on the turn now. For the turn at Secretariat. He looks like he's opening. The lead is increasing. Make it 3.5. He's moving into the turn. Secretariat holding on to a large lead. Sham is second, and then it's a long way back to My Gallant and Twice the Prince. They're on the turn. Secretariat is blazing along. The first 3/4 of a mile in 1:09 4/5. Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by